say, guys? Let's go somewhere fun and unwind.
Blowout Beach, here we come.
Hello and welcome to Watchin' Stuff, the show about watching stuff. I'm Nero. With me is my Canadian counterpart, Y-Boy.
Boom.
And now we're in your territory, right? We're in your your big yard.
Yep. For a lot of you know, on this channel, I've reviewed every single Scooby-Doo movie for my series Scooby-Doo Corner. And today we finally got the chance to look at the latest Scooby-Doo movie, because I thought it was going to be coming out at the end of the month, but thanks to the powers of the internet, we got it early. Huzzah! And this is Scooby-Doo Blowout Beach Bash. I keep fumbling the name in my mind because
it feels like it feels too long, because it's not even Scooby-Doo Blowout Beach Bash. It's Lego Scooby-Doo Blowout Beach Bash. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it could be Lego Scooby-Doo Beach Bash, something like that. Even though that could be, it was another Scooby-Doo short that was around the same name, sort of like Beach Beasties or something like that. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Some of you might remember that we actually reviewed another Lego Scooby-Doo movie like a year back when I visited Nero in Arizona, and that was
hold on, goddamn. They list all the movies, but it doesn't say which one's a Lego. It just says movies. Yeah. Okay, Shaggy Showdown was the
Western one that I reviewed in Cartoon Corner.
You reviewed that on Cartoon Corner. Touch the card above my head on the YouTube video and in the links below, so you can go see that review.
Mm-hmm.
Haunted Hollywood.
Yeah,
that was the last one. And look, listen. By the way, that one, Lego Scooby-Doo Haunted Hollywood. Yeah, simple, easy to say,
but a terrible movie.
No, it's a piece of crap. Matter of fact, touch the card above my head. You guys can go check it out. Also, link in the description below. That one was pretty abysmal. It wasn't very funny. It felt needlessly long. Yeah. And it's funny because I remember talking about this. I'm like, what are the key ingredients to like a good Scooby-Doo? And you're like, funny and a mystery. That's pretty much all it needs to do.
Yeah, really, that's all it needs to do. But that movie was basically like a 30-minute long episode of Scooby-Doo stretched out to an hour and a half. That's it.
You feel every millisecond of it.
And it feels like 3 hours.
It feels... Oh my god.
Like, when we reached the 30-minute mark for that movie, we were just like, oh my god, the movie's not over yet?
It felt like we were watching it longer. Luckily, I guess this will be the new brand of films they're going to do for a while, which makes sense because, they're going to try and start marketing it more towards...
that Lego Dimensions thing where they're showing a lot of the Lego Scooby-Doo characters. So we got Lego Scooby-Doo coming out. They tried the first one. They tried Puppet Scooby-Doo for a second time. But now they're trying Lego Scooby-Doo again with this one. And just right off the bat, I'm very happy with this movie. I had my standards very low on this thanks to that first movie.
Right next to Dinosaur Bones.
Just right next to it, or just lower than the Earth's mantle, just that low on it. But this movie actually honestly surprised me, and it was a really fun and actually sort of intelligent movie, in a Scooby-Doo sense, of course.
Well, yeah, because Scooby-Doo in a nutshell, no matter how they want to spin it, and if you remember, like, you mentioned when you did I believe it was when you did the live-action Scooby-Doo movie, touch the card above my head, link in the description below for that review as well, where James Gunn had said, he was basically writing it with the idea of, imagine you grew up watching Scooby-Doo, these are all the jokes you put together as an adult.
Yeah.
And, that's the thing, like, Scooby-Doo doesn't work with that adult mindset.
Yeah, I saw James Gunn's post about that during when it was, like, the 35-year anniversary of the movie.
Oh my god,
just sort of like,
has it been that long?
I have no idea. I might be shooting it up by 10 years or something.
Okay, because I'm like 35 years. I thought that was like the 2000s when that shit came out.
Yeah. I think.
Wait a minute.
15 years. Oh, I shot that over by 20 years.
It couldn't be 35 years because I saw it and I'm not even 30 yet. So, oh my god.
Or maybe he is.
Oh, I want to believe.
Maybe that's the true mystery that we're just getting to. But But anyway, yeah, James Gunn is like the 15-year anniversary, and he's talking about all the good times he had on the movie. And I appreciate him for showing more of his humanistic side for everybody. But definitely an adult mindset for a Scooby-Doo movie isn't what most Scooby-Doo fans are really looking for. Like, that's just me just basing off conjecture and such. But me as a Scooby-Doo fan, I don't look for, like, just those adult jokes and such. I look for just a goofy antics, and a solid mystery, and just a decent monster.
Yeah.
That's really it.
That's the Scooby-Doo formula in a nutshell. Like, you know, everybody who is a fan of Scooby-Doo, they could probably recall a monster they love. You know, like me, my obsession is with Charlie.
He will not shut up about Charlie, but I will admit Charlie is a great monster. The big monster that's really on my mind right now is one from WrestleMania Mystery, the Ghost Bear.
The Ghost Bear.
It was such a badass design. The monsters in this movie wouldn't really make it on any of my list because it's a Lego monster, so their creepy factor sort of goes down a tad.
What was the monster for the last Lego Scooby-Doo film? I don't remember. Was it an aviator?
No, it was a bunch of movie monsters, I guess.
I don't remember. God damn, that... It's funny. I can remember, like, Colonel Custard from the Boo Brothers. I can obviously remember Revolta from Scooby-Doo Ghoul School. I can even remember Count Dracula from The Reluctant Werewolf. I can remember all those fairly vividly. I'm a grown man, and I watched that Lego Scooby-Doo movie like a year ago, and I can't remember a thing that came out of it.
To be quite fair, you fell asleep right after that movie, so that sort of just faded away afterwards.
Oh god, it was. It's funny. I'm an insomniac by trade, so I was able to enter the Odin sleep and regain my power cosmic after that because that movie was so boring. This one was pretty good. You know, it's your basic Scooby-Doo fanfare. You know, the team obviously goes somewhere and a mystery happens. They go to a beachside resort. With
just a nice pier, a roller coaster, and all that sort of stuff, and they're there for the beach bash that's going on down there, where two teenagers are crowned the king and queen of the Bingo Beach Bash.
Yeah, or as we like to call them, the douches, because the two kids that did get the crown like last year that are really high and mighty in this movie are douches.
Are absolute douches. Like, one of them is named Chad.
And no offense to anyone named Chad out there, but like, you guys must be getting a seriously bad rap. I have seen so many characters that have, like, the sweater tied around the neck, and then they got, like, a polo shirt on, and they go by the name Chad. It's, like, a really weird stereotype at this point. You want, like, a rich doucher character that's, like, a bleach blonde. You need a Chad, or a Troy, or a Trey. That shit needs to stop.
But, yeah. But we also gotta think, oh, poor Chad and whoever his sister was, because two ghost pirates come in and steal their crowns and just go away. And that is when Scooby and the gang arrive at the beach resort to basically come in and just say, like, well, we got to get those crowns back and such, and just save this town. And so they're off just to investigate these pirates and just try to save this town and such. And we get a good handful of suspects in this, in pairs of two, in a sense.
What do we get? That's 8 suspects?
Yeah, basically 8 suspects.
Altogether?
The first ones we mentioned are Chad and sister, whoever her name is.
It's funny, in my head, I want to say, like, was it Chelsea?
Chad and Chelsea.
Like in my brain meat, I'm like, maybe it was Chad and Chelsea. I don't remember. I just remember Chad because he was just such a stereotype. Then there are the Ma and Pa that run the local inn, the handouts, the holdouts.
Holdouts.
You had the sheriff and the deputy, and then you had Donald Trump and his assistant.
Yes.
Because there's a character in here who's clearly Donald Trump. Not even trying to cover it. I mean, it was funny because when we watched it, I'm like, is this a Donald Trump parody? And you're like, no, man. He needs, like, the weird yellow, like, comb over and the orange skin. And then, like, as soon as he talks, he's like,
I want to transform the sleepy old town into the destination for the young and well-to-do. And it begins by bulldozing that ugly old beach and boardwalk down there and turning the whole thing into piers.
I just turn to look at you, you're like, Okay, you know what? They're not even trying to hide it. I'm like, I guess they just made him look like a normal person instead of an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, really. But he just goes through all the cartoonish extremes of what you think of Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's quite the
Cartoon.
yes, he's quite the cartoon, which
makes him increasingly unlikable, but also likable in the strangest sense.
Almost like the actual person. So it all
oh my god! Did you make a cartoon your president?
I didn't. I'll tell you that much. I didn't. The rest of the country maybe, but not me.
No, but yeah, that's sort of in the sense like, well, we can laugh about this character. It's like all the characters that we do see as the suspects do actually sort of have a personality behind them that we can attach ourselves to, in a sense to basically memorize each of their motivations, which is good for a mystery. So we know each of their motivations and each of their personalities to go along with it, to basically make our brain sort of attach each which way on how what you could actually get out of the monster attacks and such.
Well, like since you've reviewed so many Scooby-Doo movies, you've seen this scenario where it's like you watch a Scooby-Doo movie, and it's not like the mystery was hard to solve. It's that the mystery was just very poorly written.
Yeah, especially with the last one that I did, Shaggy Showdown. That was a disgustingly awfully put together mystery. I mean, my God, writers.
Is that the one where Comic Sans plays like a pivotal role in the mystery?
Oh, yeah.
No professional would use that font. No one with any taste or self-respect would... Easy there, Velma.
Comic Sans is the key clue.
Yeah, for all of us graphic design lovers out there, again, me myself, graphic designer. Yeah, don't care about Comic Sans too much. Apparently, I was taught I was supposed to hate it. I'm indifferent to Comic Sans, quite honestly. I think it has a place like any font, but it was really weird that somebody wrote the crux of a animated film, let alone a Scooby-Doo film, and the crux of the mystery is Comic Sans, the font.
Yeah, one of the culprit is a Comic Sans, and that's the evidence that gets.
This was interesting because with the multiple antagonists, you have multiple people who you can draw your parallels from. You have, actually, that's the thing. Like you have the two douchers who their whole deal is like, they basically want to stop the contest from happening so they can be king and queen forever. Which, dude, is it just me? They're king and queen, but they're siblings. Is that weird to you in any way, or was that just me?
Yeah, that could be weird, but it's just sort of like, we're the popular kids, and we're family too. That means we're so cool. Because they also are the kids' owners that own the nearby hotel. So they really are the king of the whole area.
So you have like the douchers want to scare everybody off so the competition can't be held, so they keep the crown because they're just that pathetic.
Yes, then we have the Monpa, who have their own hotel, and they basically hate Donald Trump and basically clearly say, we would destroy the whole pier before selling it to you. We have Donald Trump, who basically says, like, I want to just bulldoze down this whole place and just make it for all my business.
I think he wanted to make it a, he wanted to, like, up it, like, it was like a small family resort, but he wanted to, like, up it into, like, a loud resort.
Yeah. With more roller coasters and such. And the sheriff and deputy are just basically saying, like, we hate all these teenagers around here because they give us too much work to do.
That, to me, was arguably the most realistic motivation. It's like, fucking hate teens. They're coming in. They're starting shit. They're good guys. Our job was so much easier when we were just like a small little beachside town. Nothing would ever happen. It was probably the sweetest gig ever.
Yeah, and each one had sort of a viable motivation to it, so you can't just instantly think like, oh my god, maybe that character with the twirly mustache is
in a way, actually, it's funny because the kids, the douchers have it because of greed. The parents have it out of anger. The deputy and the sheriff have it out of being slothful. And the Donald Trump also greed. Actually,
I would say greed.
Yeah, well, actually, pride could also go for the douchers too, because they were very, very up in their own butts about it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just sort of the most dynamic part of the movie, those characters. But in a sense, it's not all about the suspects, obviously, as we have the Scooby Gang here. And every time we have the Scooby Gang around, they each need sort of a subplot in the movie.
It's like if you ever watch Be Cool Scooby-Doo, Daphne's whole thing is that I'd argue she's retarded to some extent because she seems to be very dumb in that version, but she's made to be very quirky in that iteration.
Yeah. But in a lot of the previous Scooby-Doo movies, that each character would have sort of a subplot thing that basically draws out the movie, so that there's not really a moment where things slow down. Here, there's not as many subplots for them, which I feel is sort of a strength for the movie, but also a detriment
a little bit.
to it.
It works because they do the role reversal angle instead, because initially the angle that they originally worked it is, pretty much Freddy and Velma are the key components of the team. One's the brains for the mystery sense, one's the brains for the trapping sense. Then you have Scooby and Shaggy, who are, for lack of a better phrase, they're kind of like the muscle, really, because they do all the heavy lifting. And Daphne's just sort of the chick. She's the damsel. She really doesn't have a real reason to be there. So the idea that in this movie they flip the script and they role reverse it. So, Freddy and Velma want to be fun. They want to be carefree because they get teased by Shaggy and Daphne and Scooby about how, they don't loosen up and how every time they do something, it usually ends up in a mystery because of them. And
which is always true in most of the movies. So in this case, with the role reversal, we have Fred and Velma going out to be the fun crew and getting all wrapped up and just being the cool teenagers on the block. Or we were just joking about the cool 30-year-olds among the teenagers.
It's not against the voice actors. Some of them work. Daphne seems fine. Shaggy seems fine. Mm-hmm. I can't really stand Kate Micucci as Velma Dinkley. I don't care for her voice.
Maybe tone down the pirate speak, Captain? Let's try engaging a smaller group.
She's sort of like a hit and miss for a lot of her performances and such. I feel here she played it a lot more older than...
Well, I love Frank Welker as a performer. He's a phenomenal voice actor and an amazing talent. But it's really weird where Freddy shows up and he's like, how you doing, fellow beachgoers? I just keep thinking back to that 30 Rock joke where Steve Buscemi walks up and he goes,
"How do you do, fellow kids?"
Just a couple of freewheeling teenagers such as yourselves.
Yeah, even for a stick in the mud teenager, that feels like a little bit more of an old man joke.
And that's the thing, the acting is all good across the board, and there's a lot of surprise voice acting. Tom Kenny shows up here, Jack McBrayer shows up, Fred Tatasciore shows up, it's Josh Keaton shows up. It's a lot of a who's who of voice acting. Jeff Bennett shows up, and it's man, most of these people were part of my childhood.
Yeah, it's a nice all-star cast of voice actors. Personally, I'm not usually the one that really points out voice actors and such, but I do like their performances because, shock of all shocks, this is actually a pretty funny Scooby-Doo movie.
What I like about this one over the last one, and we said this in the review for the last one. In the last one, the big issue was it was a Lego Scooby-Doo movie, but it wasn't aware it was a Lego Scooby-Doo movie. They used maybe one joke.
Here's the one joke that they used the Lego, anything Lego in the last movie.
It's really Verona Dempsey.
They spin the head. That's it.
Yeah, and it's not very funny because that's all they do. But in this one, they're fully aware of it, so much so that they point out pretty much that they're Lego pieces.
Yeah, that's actually so fourth wall breaking and clever, just like you would see in the Lego movie where all this started. There are even bits where there are master builders in a sense.
I like that actually. It's really kind of surprising if you ever go back and watch the Lego movie. No Scooby-Doo.
I'm trying to think of this. If some form of Scooby-Doo showed up in the Lego Batman movie, but I can't think of it on top of my head.
Not that I could remember, and I've seen that flick 4 times now, and... No, I don't think so, which is weird, because Scooby has had a crossover, actually, with Batman before, so...
Yeah, way back in the... we finally see how Lego can actually work with Scooby-Doo and just sort of really gel together, and in a much more competent way.
It's like surprisingly, it's very tongue-in-cheek, but that's what makes it work. And it's the same thing, like, if you ever go back to, not Be Cool, which it was also tongue-in-cheek, but, Mystery Incorporated was also that, and which was the one, I think it was the WrestleMania one you showed me, where Daphne and Velma get angry at Shaggy and Scooby, and Shaggy says, "What's the big deal if I didn't pack our laundry? I mean, we all wear the same clothes every day." And it's like, it's true.
That sort of is the best writing in the series, because it is funny for the kids out there watching it, because they know from their small experience, like, yeah, they just wear the same outfits all the time. But it's also like a bigger laugh for like the longtime fans like me and a lot of other fans, because just like, yes, they've been wearing the same stuff for years and years.
Well, it's just a good animation joke too, because in animation, characters have a set like outfit. Like, it's rare to watch a cartoon of any kind where the clothes will change. Like, if you go back and watch any of like the old shows we have, characters basically would have a default look to them. I mean, going back to actually the original Scooby-Doo, you know, they all dressed the way they do now. Freddy always had like the ascot and the shirt and the pants. Shaggy always had like the bell bottoms and stuff. That's how it worked. And that was it. So like, it's funny because that's just a good animation joke, because in animation, it's really rare. I think one of the exceptions was maybe Shaolin Showdown, where Kimiko would always actually have a different outfit, but the other three members, the other three Shaolins, would always actually dress the same.
Yeah, and I always liked that in that show. And even in this movie, they did throw in a sort of a different costume for Fred and Velma.
Yeah,
which
they were
being
cool.
It was a nice change of pace for everything.
So, I mean, we don't want to give the plot away, and I know that's kind of strange for us because we do tend to go over movies in more detail, but we enjoyed this to such a degree that we're asking, if you're a Scooby fan, and we know you exist, otherwise why you subscribe to this channel, really, but you should really...
You exist. You watch it for me. Me.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, creepiness aside, we think, shut up. We think you'll actually enjoy this as far as a Scooby-Doo animated film. So we don't want to spoil anything. We don't want to spoil the mystery. But it's got great meta humor, both just as an animation, both being self-aware that it's Lego, both being self-aware that it's Scooby-Doo. Great voice acting all around. Animation is fairly standard. I really think the unfortunate side effect of these Lego TV shows and these Lego direct-to-DVD movies is, if you see the Lego movie, it doesn't hold up, like, comparatively. You could tell, like, yeah, they go a lot cheaper with this.
Yeah, and compared to, like, all, like, movies like WrestleMania, the Kiss one, or anything like that, you're never going to get that sort of creepiness factor from the monsters, or any sort of, like, grand animation, like, wow moment, like with Moon Monster Madness.
Yeah, I prefer the hand-drawn ones anyways.
And everything. Like, if you see the monsters here, you're never going to remember them because they're just going to be Lego pirates.
So if we're, to wrap it up, your rating, what are you going to go with?
I'll have to go with a good watch. I can't really give it a must-see because this is definitely more like a Scooby-Doo fans movie. I wouldn't just show it to, like, hey, buddy, who's never seen Scooby-Doo before, watch this, you'll love Scooby-Doo afterwards. No. It's basically standard Scooby-Doo fare that'll make a Scooby-Doo fan happy. And that's really just all you can really expect out of something like this.
Too true.
It's definitely better than what we got last time with Lego Scooby-Doo.
Oh man, preaching to the choir. I agree with you. Good watch. It was, now, mind you, you could argue there's an asterisk next to this because fact was, the last Lego Scooby-Doo movie was dreadful. It was boring, it was uninteresting, and that in and of itself is honestly the worst offense anything that's part of the medium of entertainment can really do, is be boring. Like, at least if something's bad, at least you're getting a reaction of something. It might be a negative reaction, but at least it's a reaction. That's certainly better than just being like, why does this even exist?
I'm going to take a nap after this now.
And I knocked right out.
Yeah, so maybe because they were so bad, we were sort of nice to this movie. I can say that myself, that may be sort of a bias in my case. Yeah,
kudos to Emily Brundage and Aaron Preacher. Those are the two who wrote this. I kind of hope they bring this duo in again to do future movies, preferably one of the more traditional ones, one of the hand-drawn ones, because I'm not big on the Lego style. It's not that it's necessarily bad, But the detriment that I found that the Lego movies have had over other ones is a lack of expression, and that's only in the direct-to-DVD and television market. Like, the Lego movie is fine, because it has the budget to allow itself to do what it has to do and be as big as it needs to be. But in the case of this, you could see that it's cheap. It's always going to look cheap. That's the sad inevitability.
Yeah, it makes it sort of a limited sort of medium that they can work with, as they can only do like Lego jokes and such in this.
I swear, if you watch this and pay attention to the lip flaps, it's just a cycle of the same lip flaps when they talk.
Yeah, that does make it easier, but at least the lip flaps still work. It still looks like they are talking.
That's true. It's not like they had a stroke and, like, talking's coming off screen or something.
Because we've seen plenty of movies like that.
We've seen too many movies like that.
God, we have.